Hello, bitches and bros and non-binary hoes. Let's do this! Hello and welcome back to the channel. Let's get into this. I have a headache today and I'm feeling frankly a little manic. So I don't know how much of this I'll A, be filming, and B, will be at all coherent, so we may be relying a lot on future editor me and my ability to do a voiceover. Now, as you've probably seen from the title image and the title of this video, I think you know what costume we're working on today. Ta-da! Now, before we get into this, let me take you on a journey through time. And not space, because I'm still living in the same place I lived in, so just a journey through time. It's back to the annuals of history, the far back year of ye old 2019. Alright, I have been wanting to cosplay Supergirl for so many years. So many years. Ever since I was like probably a child, I have wanted to cosplay Supergirl. There's just something about, like, I like Superman, he's great and all, but women, am I right? Women. So, when the TV show first came out, I was like, very nice, but also like the colors were a little more muted than what I would like. I kind of wanted that bright pop of like a nice light blue or like a more of a, what is that, cobalt blue and like a bright red, and like, you know, I really wanted to I wanted to pop, you know. And in the TV show it was a little more muted colors, and then I stopped watching after she like went through the weird like Russian timeline. A lot of things happened in that TV show, and I stopped at a certain point and went, this is too convoluted for me. What is going on? Anyways, in 2019, I started my first iteration, my only iteration, I will add, of doing a Supergirl cosplay. It was in the spring/early summer of 2019, I started working on a Supergirl cosplay, which I still have. After I moved to where I'm living now, I was going through a bunch of my several tubs of fabric, and I found this, which is my original pattern and workings for Supergirl cosplay. It was a long time ago. My ability to choose fabrics and pattern things it's come a ways, okay? I actually are probably using some of the patterns of this, but my skill set has come a ways, and so this will not be what we're working with. But what ended up stopping me in 2019 was the S symbol, the House of L symbol, the super symbol. So we'll fast forward in time to the year 2022, I believe it was. It was 2021 or 2022. And I was walking my way through a Dollarama. It was October, and my eyes feast upon the dollar store costume section. And in there was a Supergirl costume for $5. And I love a deal. All right? So I grabbed it and was like, you know what? It's $5. I can't really say no to that. I gotta commit to the bid. So I bought it. I don't know if I ever took photos of that costume, but the costume was several choices. It was like that really gross, cheap costume, shiny metallic fabric that when it touched each other and you pulled it apart, it would like imprint on each other, like that level of just bad fabric. It was not good. And then, so that was the cape and the skirt. And then the belt was like a gold version of that. And then it was like a crop top version. And that was like a blue stretch. I shudder to say velvet, but that's what it was going for. It looked so bad. It did in fact fit, but it just looked bad. I think it actually came with boot covers. I can't remember. But like the cape was really short, it barely ended at my butt, and I wanted like fantastic cape, like long floof cape, you know what I'm talking about? But on the front was this. And this is like a nice embroidered patch. And I thought, you know, for $5, I'll buy this patch. And so I cut out the patch and threw away the rest of the costume because honestly, it was a fire hazard. I was concerned that if I stepped out into the sun with that costume, the rays of the sun would just set it on fire. Like that was the level of like, it was polyester in the worst way possible. And so I said no. So then I had in my possession, like 3 years ago, at this point almost, like 3 years ago, I had in my possession finally the missing piece that kept me from doing the costume back in 2019. What stopped me from completing the costume? Well, I was deep in my Genshin era at the time. Genshin, anime, Link, like a lot of video games. I was deep into that. And so I wasn't like in the mood for making comic book characters because I knew that like it just wouldn't do well with like I shudder to say fandom, but I do have enough of a following that I suppose you could call it that. So I just knew it wouldn't like hit as well, right? And then fast forward to the beginning of 2025, and we are watching X-Men 97, and I get punched right in the face back into my comic book era. And I was reminded of all of the comic book characters that I wanted to cosplay, but just never did. And so now my lineup for what I want to make for 2025 is just mostly comic book characters. And so that is a whole thing. And then I was going through my fabrics and I was going through all of my stuff, and I found this, my old Supergirl costume back from 2019. And then I found this. And I was like, okay, well, you know, if I happen to come across a good sale on a nice blonde wig, because I didn't have like a blonde wig that would work, then maybe I'll talk about it. So then at work one day, I was perusing AliExpress, and this beautiful blonde Lolita wig trapezed across my page. And I was like, oh no, it's happening, guys. Cause like, look at this wig. It's a skin top wig. And it's like a beautiful, like caramel blonde. And it's like pretty thick too. Like, look at that. When I move this around, like you don't see too many of the wefts. And I was like, ooh, because I've never really liked, especially on me, the like really unnatural looking blonde, in the sense of like the really yellow blonde, like like how she's drawn in the comics, where she's got like that really like yellow blonde. I wanted something a little more like a natural blonde, and I suppose this is more of like a strawberry blonde now that I'm looking at it, but that's fine. It looks a lot more natural, and it looks like it'll look nice on me because this was $11. It was on sale. AliExpress was having their like 11/11 deal, and I bought it. Fast forward to last night, and I was looking through all of my fabrics, trying to see what I had to work with, so that way I wouldn't have to spend any extra money on this costume. I have a really nice red that I'm probably going to use for the lining for the cape, and then I have this other nice red polyester, but it's from the Value Village, and it was $5, and it's like 1.5 meters, 2 meters. And I also happen to have in my possession the original blue stretch knit that I made my first costume with. So I'm just gonna use it. I just realized the timestamp on this is 13 minutes. Oh my gosh. I guess the final things to explain is I'm going to use this as a pattern. The sleeves are actually really well done on this. I do hate this because I did not know how to know how to like apply bias tape when I did this, and it looks incredibly bad and it's not even finished correctly. So that's not going to be in use. But I am going to use the sleeves. Also the bottom is just several choices. Yeah. So there are going to be some design changes and some things that I'm going to be altering on this, but yeah, let's get into the making of this. And just like that, we are off and running. So the first thing I started with was going over my original pattern, and I actually really liked the first skirt pattern I did. It was really good, even though it was like 5 years ago. I realized I did kind of know what I was doing, so I used my original skirt pattern for the actual pattern I used for the skirt, which I have said that one many times. Anyways, it's fine, don't worry about it. So basically I took it apart because it had a zipper in it, so I used the zipper already. I took apart the pins that were keeping the pleats in place, and then I just drew where I had originally put the pleats. I don't know what I was gonna say there, I'm sorry. And then I just took the skirt apart and used it to create the actual pattern. The initial cape pattern that I did was just gathered at the back, and then the fabric was also kind of like a felt almost, so I didn't really like it, and I did use the initial shape of it and the length because that was about as much fabric as I had to work with. Now for the bodice design, or like the bodysuit, I did like the fabric and the kind of silhouette it gave, but it did kind of not fit in the front as well as I'd like it to, so I do end up cutting in some princess seams because I just thought that would like shape the bodice better to me. I want to point out something really funny about the like crotch of this. This was my first time ever making a bodysuit, and so this, let me just, is the I was like, this will be fine. It's so, like, it's so badly done. This is the worst part of it, honestly. Like, for the seams, I did a straight stitch. I didn't even zigzag it, so that's a choice. And then for the, like, crotch area, I didn't make, like, an actual, like, crotch. I just put a strip on it like this. Having a dress form really makes it easier to draw out where I wanted those princess seams, because then I had like a 3D surface to work with and I could really kind of place them where I wanted. So that was helpful, and that's what I just did here, was marking out where I wanted my princess seams. I wanted them really deep and dramatic because I wanted the costume to be, I didn't want them to be like non-noticeable seams. I wanted them to really be flashy. That was kind of what I was going for with this. It's a superhero costume. It's gotta be cool and fun. So yeah, that's what I did here. And I brought them in from the elbow. Or the elbow? The armpit. I brought them in from the armpit. That's where I started the princess seam and then went down. I didn't do anything fancy with the back of the costume because it's gonna be covered by a cape and literally no one's ever going to see the back of it without the cape. So I actually really liked the original sleeves that I did, so I just ripped them off of the old costume and used them for the next costume. I was fully convinced that I, 5-6 years ago, didn't know how to properly attach bias tape. But as I was opening this up, I actually did sew it correctly. I sewed it along the inside and then folded over and sewed it along the outside. Now I should have sewed in the ditch, which I did not do. You can very clearly see, actually, can you focus on it? Hey. Well, it's not gonna focus on it, but there is a stitch line there. I'm actually a little impressed with past me. I didn't think it was that good, but it is. That's good job, past me. I then went and removed any of the Velcro that I had initially used for like closing it at the bottom. Kind of accidentally ripped through the fabric, I just saw that. I also removed the like silly little strip of fabric between the middle, so that way I had all of my parts separated and I could look at them individually. I also separated the front from the back. Then I cut away the princess seams from the front pieces, so that way those pieces would be separate, so I could then make new pattern pieces for those for making the actual garment. Then I laid out all of my pattern pieces onto the new fabric. Well, technically it's the same fabric from before, but anyways, I'm cutting out new pieces, and that's what I went about doing, and I think this is a long little bit of time lapse, so I'll leave you with the music. So, as I live in the Great White North Sea, as I live in Canada, it is now, what time is it? Yes, 4:20. It's 4:22, that is outside. It's dark. It's November 30th. And it's dark. So, just thought I would take you on that little thing of why the room is now dark. It's because it's just dark outside. I also kind of like blacked out and sewed this all together. So, yeah, I did a zigzag stitch on the inside, and then I zigzag stitched it down on the outside because I thought it would add like a fun little textural thing. I don't know, sometimes on like Supergirl's costumes she has like lines, and then sometimes also like red stitching on top, like red top stitching. I did make it to where it would have like a shorts region. I may actually have to like alter the shorts region a bit because it actually seems like it's gonna give me slight, ooh, no. Oh, that should look nice. Okay, nice. Because I really wanted there to be like, like shorts underneath of it, so that's good. Now I'm gonna attach the sleeves, and then we can start working on the skirt and the cape. So that was actually not too bad. That didn't take me too long. Very nice. We'll see how much I actually film of me sewing. Right, so I tried it on. It fits very nicely, like very snugly. I enjoy the added lines that I put in. It fixed the fit issues I was having with it 5 years ago. It's incredible what, 5 years of knowledge will do to like, fixing something. So now we're gonna insert the sleeve into the arm side. Now, the way that you do this to get your seams all in the right direction is you have the body inside out, okay? You have the body inside out and the sleeve right side in. And you insert the sleeve inside of the body, and then you line up your seam lines together, and then you pin it in place, and then you sew it. And then that is how, when you turn this right sides out, all of your right sides, or all of the external seam lines are oh my god. So when you turn it right sides out, you have clean edge out, raw sides in. That is how you do an arm side. That's how you do a sleeve. I hope that helps. like the like detail lines here, and I've hemmed this. It does kind of look bad, but that's fine. It will now need the skirt, and then make a cape. Yeah, so let's go do that. I do need to hem the bottom and make these touch so that way this has like essentially shorts, but that's gonna be the last thing I do so that way I can see this all on the dress form together. Okay, we're gonna cut out the skirt now with this lovely little time lapse. So the skirt is essentially about a 3/4 circle skirt. It's not a full circle, I don't believe, but I can't remember. I think it's not a full circle. And so that's what we're doing. Oh, and then this is the cape. So that top fabric, that is the full amount of that fabric, and it was literally just a little bit shorter than what that initial cape was, or about the same length. So I was like, okay, that's the length of the cape, I guess. So then I cut that all out too. One of the lining and one of the top side of the fabric. I also decided halfway through looking at the lining and the way that it like caught the light that it wasn't going to be the lining fabric and it was actually going to be the top fabric, just because it looked so nice. Like, look at how crisp and pretty that looks, like catching the light, versus the other fabric that I used for the skirt. So it is a little different, but that's okay. And then I just, essentially for the cape, I just did a bag line. So I didn't sew the top, and I sewed the sides and the bottom all in one go. So I have sewn together the lining and the fashion fabric for the cape, and now I'm going to do something to help with ironing everything flat, and I'm going to stitch the seam allowance down to the lining, and then when I flip everything and iron it flat, it's going to make it so much easier and not have it trying to like shift and move out of the way. It's gonna make things work a lot easier and just like save myself a lot of time and keep everything together really nicely. It'll also help with making sure that the seam doesn't fray at all or like come undone. Now it is like a cape, so it's not going to like come apart super easily, but I still don't want it to come apart. You know what I mean? So I'm using the old noggin, folks. Oh yeah. See, I grew my hair out so I could do cute little K-pop hairstyles, and now it's just looks dumb. Hello guys, it's day 2. I have maybe 3 hours of today that I can actually work on this because I was planning a photo shoot this morning, and so I took up like 2 hours doing that instead of working on the project, which is fine, honestly. Like, I don't have to work on something for like 8 to 10 hours like I did yesterday. So my goal for today is to hem the skirt, install a zipper, and figure out how I want to do her belt. And then the cape is almost done. I just need to figure out how I'm going to wear the cape, and I need to gather the back, pleat it down so that way it fits nicely around my neck. And yeah, that's really what I have to do. I also need to figure out the undercarriage portion of the crotch portion of the bodysuit, but I think I'm not gonna worry about that today. I'm not gonna like touch the bodysuit today. I'm kind of like, meh. I'll figure that out later. So yeah, the goal today is the skirt. So my original design of this skirt had like this kind of pattern in it where it's basically like it's not a box pleat because it's not creating a box, but a lot of Supergirl outfits have like, because I'm not really referencing any particular Supergirl outfit, I'm just making something that's clearly Supergirl but not necessarily referencing any particular outfit, you know what I mean? Wow, my hands look like sausages today. That is horrific. Anyways, I'm gonna now sew these down. And I also might sew like an inch or two down the front of this, so that way it keeps the pleat in place. And then I'll iron it flat and hopefully it'll like stay nicely. I'm not gonna lie, I find it incredibly funny that you can just see my half-eaten lunch just right through the sewing machine. That's great. It's such good camera angle, previous me, you're doing it. All right, laddies, hem time. So what I ended up doing was a kind of a baby rolled hem. So basically what I did is I folded the fabric over once, I sewed down a line, and then I snipped away the excess fabric and folded it over again and sewed it down, so that way I didn't have any weird rippling across where the fabric had hung around the bias line of the fabric. So that is how I did that. That is how I got really crisp, beautiful hems. If you at all look at this tub with fabric on top of it and judge me, I'm finding your left shoe and I'm stealing it. But when you're doing a rolled hem like this, you have to iron down your seam after snipping it before you roll it over. It's going to make everything lie a lot flatter. So that's what I'm doing. I also did iron down the entirety of the whatever it's called yesterday, cape, and I just didn't film that because I couldn't be bothered. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna accidentally like mute this audio and then not use it. Anyways, iron down your cosplay stuff. Iron down all of your stuff because it's just gonna look better that way. You should invest in an iron. If you want your clothes to look classier and you want your like everything to look classier, invest in an iron and like iron your clothes. That's my tea for you today. That's today's like advice. Don't worry, it'll all be over soon. So I was playing around with shapes and I came up with this for the belt shape, and I think I'm going to make it out of possibly Warbler. I don't know. I don't really have anything that I can use well for this because like, I don't know, lads. What are we thinking? Also, like slow zoom on this. I actually do enjoy the little zigzag stitches. It's kind of fun. It's also on the cuffs, which you can't really see. Thoughts on the skirt, I kind of like it. I think it's cool. I also want the yellow to kind of match. So I don't want to go like yellow. I want to go gold, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I do. So I patterned out a belt for the skirt, and I went through my fabric stash to look for something yellow or gold or something, and I found these. I found these that I had bought at the dollar store years ago. They're just like a glitter on fabric kind of thing. This one's more of a rose gold, this is more of a yellow gold. But I kind of thought they looked too costumey. Like, they didn't really fit Supergirl. So I looked a little bit more and I found the scraps of fabric that I had bought so many years ago for making a skirt for my mom. I think I bought this fabric in like, oh man, 2017, I want to say. So I probably had this fabric for nigh on 8 years. It is a little, like I'm looking at it in camera and it's also a little bit more rose gold, a little more bronzy than it is gold, but beggars can't be choosers, my lord. I don't know where that accent came from. Don't ask questions. So I ended up pleating up the cape because that was going to get the best effect at the back, because I didn't point it to where it would just be straight across. I had extra fabric, so I did end up pleating it down to sort of, I guess you could say loose box pleats. I didn't really, I think I box pleated the center and it out from that in like a direction going outwards, so that way it met in the middle. I also made a figure 8 pattern out of some wide elastic and sewed it down in the center, and that's how I cape. I think I explained that in the second place. This camera angle, fantastic. Anyways, here's this thing. And the way that it works is like, there we go. See, so you got like the straps that come in the front. The cape gets attached along this side here, and then it crosses over and loops in the back. You have a full range of movement, and like I still have a lot of stretch to it. And a bonus of this is it keeps your shoulders like up and back, so you've got that like imposing. You're not shrimping it out here, you're pulling it back, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't have words anymore. So the cape's almost done, so I think I'm just gonna continue with the cape. We have pleats now, so this thing will sit like so. And then we've got a little bit of pleating in the action in the back. It's not exactly how I envisioned it to have pleats in the back, but you know what? Once again, beggars can't be choosers, my lord. I don't know where the like accent is coming from and like the medieval aesthetic. You know what? Don't even worry about it. It does make my shoulders look really wide and really cool and imposing, and that's the point. Bye. All right, a little thing. This is the quick and dirty crash course on applying bias tape. So bias tape comes like this. It's cut on the bias, so it has like a small amount of stretch, so you can like curve it around things, all of that good jazz. Bias tape is folded over once and then once again, so it's folded over twice. Now, when you're working on this, you're gonna see 3 different lines. When you're applying it, you find which side is the shorter side, and that's going on the front. You open it up, you pin it on, you sew inside of this here fold. You pin it, you can put it here, you put it on, you sew along the fold, and then when you fold this bad boy back over, like so, and then you stitch, and then you do something what is called stitching in the ditch, which is, this should be long enough on this side to barely catch. If you sew right along the outside here, along this, then you're stitching in the ditch. If I had an overhead thing, this would look so much better and you wouldn't be sitting here listening to my very bad half explanation of this. There are a lot better explanations for how to apply bias tape, and you should go watch those. But I'm gonna apply bias tape now, and I'm proving to everyone that I know how to apply bias tape. Man, listening to this back, I feel really bad for my poor sewing machine. The noises. So, I worked all week. It is back to the weekend. It is dark again outside. It was rainy and gross all day, so I was busy, alright? It's been a day. New phone, new camera. So, this is exciting. What have I done? And then I put on some snaps, and that is what the cape is actually going to attach to. Because if I attach the cape just to the bodysuit, it's gonna pull the bodysuit back, and it's gonna put tension on the bodysuit because it is a stretchy material, and that's just not gonna go over well. That is not what I want. So this, I saw this as a Tumblr post, I believe, like 10 years ago, the method for doing this, used by, you guessed it, superhero cosplayer. Snaps on your cape, snaps on a bit of elastic. This is very free flowing. Like, it's not gonna restrict you. It will like bring your shoulders back, and you'll have like a nice posture without like confining you uncomfortably. That's why you have to use elastic and not like just this. This would have given me nothing, and this would have, yeah, cinched me back tight, but it would have been so uncomfortable. This is ribbon, which is what my other plan kind of was, but elastic works, and then it can just attach to the cape. I don't know if I filmed the, yeah, I was playing D&D when I did this, so I didn't film any of it. So that's the update of what I actually did during the week. There isn't a lot left to do with the costume. I have to do the waistband on this. I need to make the gold belt. I need to attach the symbol to the front of the bodysuit, and then I need to finish the edges of the bottom of the bodysuit and add some snaps on the bottom. So it is like 5 o'clock, and I still do need to go to the store again because I've been running around all day. And I have one more thing that I have to go do, and then I'm guessing I have like, oh, for the skirt I also need to attach the zipper and finish that back end. So I'm guessing I probably have like maybe 4 more hours of work on this. So my hope is that I can finish the dress tonight, and then I can film the reveal tomorrow, and then I will be able to be done with this costume, which would be nice. I don't have boot covers for it, and I don't have any fabric to make boot covers right now. So Supergirl is gonna have black boots for now. That's just gonna be how it is. I will eventually make boots or like boot covers. I just do not have the funds currently for getting red spandex. For the waistband for the skirt, I just decided to use the wide band bias tape that I had. It just felt like it was gonna save time, energy, and money, and I already had it, and this was like bias tape that I had from a previous project back in, I believe, 2022, beginning of 2023. This was bias tape from my child cosplay. So yeah, I wasn't about to get anything new for it, and it worked out really nicely. So you know what? Reuse, recycle, it works. It's nice. Yes, zipper installation time. I believe I've talked before in other videos about how to install a zipper. So if you want, you can go back and look at my Christmas dress video to see how I usually go about installing zippers. I don't think I ended up actually like taking enough video to explain how I did this, but yeah. Oh gosh, I actually did. Yeah, I'm using a zipper foot instead of my regular foot. Wow, I actually did go and figure out how to do this. This is great. I'm not gonna explain anything. I have like a migraine today, and this video needs to go today, so you can watch this video footage, and I hope that helps actually. So yeah. Oh, I didn't do the method this time of like hand sewing the zipper down. I just clipped it into place. But the zipper actually turned out really nice for having not hand sewn the zipper down and just clipping it in and then sewing it. So I don't know, maybe I'm actually getting better at applying zippers. That would be like super nice. I want to get better at applying zippers. They still kind of low-key scare me, but I'm getting a lot braver, and I'm actually going and sewing in zippers. I'm doing good. Be proud of me. Okay, now we've moved on from the skirt. I believe the skirt must be done then if I finish the zipper. I think I'm finishing the hemming of the bodice here, just on the like crotch region, because I kept that I didn't finish it before, so that's what I must be doing right now. I also think, given that it's like light out, I wonder if this is like the next day? I don't know. But I did the hem. It's just a simple zigzag stitch. I still went with the red thread because I wanted to keep everything looking cool, even if no one, and I mean no one, is seeing the crotch region of this costume. So I just hand sewed on some snaps to the bottom so that way it will attach the bottom together, because yeah, I kind of need to get in and out of the costume. That's kind of a little important, not gonna lie, being able to actually like wear the costume, so snaps. Oh my god, it feels so cool, like getting to the end of it and like placing down the symbol and getting everything ready, like so I did hand sew that down. I just pinned it in place a little bit and hand sewed that down, and it's all coming together. And I get really emotional at this costume because it took so long to get it all together, and it took me so many years of like holding on to different things, going yeah, I'm gonna do that someday, like this is gonna be it, I'm gonna make this costume, I'm gonna do it. And I get really emotional about it because it meant a lot to me for so long, and I worked on it for so long, and I went through so many different stages of my like creative process, or like I learned so much between when I first started this to now finishing it, and I don't know, it just it means a lot to me. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. We are nearing the end of this project. I haven't looked yet for the boot cover material, and honestly I just can't be fucked to do that right now. So all I have left to do is make the belt. So I'm going to cut it out of this gold fabric, and then I'm probably going to cut out either out of Worbla or some EVA foam. I'll see which one I have that I want to work with, and then that's going to get glued to the EVA foam, and then it'll be a nice little belt, and then we'll probably have hooks and eyes at the back. Yeah, I am very excited to have this costume done. I think this is probably the last thing I'm going to make for 2024. We'll see, but honestly, we're so close to the end of the year. I'm just done. I'm done. This video might not even come out in 2024. This video might actually come out in 2025. But just know that it was filmed in 2024, I guess. I'm just happy I finally got around to making this costume. So that's all. I'm gonna go finish that. I want you to know that I do all of this work right here, which like took 30, maybe, I don't know, maybe it didn't take that long, but I want all of this work for nothing. This is not what I ended up doing. This is the fabric I ended up using. I didn't end up going with Worbla. I didn't like it. I got it, opened up, found, you know, the Worbla and the foam, and realized I only had 10mm foam, and was like, that's gonna such a thick belt, it would look bad. And I was like, nah, this ain't it, dog. We're gonna do something else. And I had just thing. This beautiful red pleather that I have had, once again, since like 2021, 2022. This was from the jacket for Toma. I have gold paint, a big brush, and this ended up so much easier. I laid out the my little pattern over top of the fabric. I cut it out, not using my fancy cutting scissors, okay? You don't use your fancy fabric scissors on pleather. You use a less fancy fabric scissor, okay? Because the pleather is gonna dull your really, really fancy fabric scissors. So these are dollar store fabric scissors, okay? I just look at me in my eyes. I actually don't, because there's no eyes, but listen to me, okay? Okay? Follow me. Follow what I say. So then I laid that out on the back side so that way I could draw out where the thing is, and then I could add seam allowance. Oh my gosh, it's been a long day, okay lads, it's been a long day, and voiceovers are hard, okay? Voiceovers are hard. Anyways, it's mostly just remembering what I was doing initially and being able to tell you what I'm doing. We're watching this together and realizing in real time, you know, how I did all of this. It's honestly didn't take me too long to do this, and I'm actually really happy with the results of this. It looked a lot better than I think it would have if I had used that other fabric, because the fabric was just a little too bronze. For seam allowance, I didn't add that much because you're just gonna cut it and fold it over, and it's pleather, so it's not gonna like fray. I also clipped all of the corners before sewing anything down. I used a long stitch and just a straight stitch. And then I joined the, where did I join it? I joined it at the sides first, and then so that way I made sure how much I needed. I just ended up cutting it in the back later on. So that's what I ended up doing. And then I top stitched everything. So that way it all like stayed flat, like so the seams stay flat, because you can't iron pleather. You cannot iron pleather. Look at me. Look, listen. You cannot iron pleather, okay? It'll separate that like vinyl from the cloth backing. That like, do not iron your pleather, okay? Just like let's be real for real right now, okay? So, straight sit. Wow, what did I do? I'm sorry. So I top stitched the seams flat, so that way they would stay flat and beautiful and nice. I used red thread through all of this, and then I clipped down, not pinned, don't pin vinyl. I clipped down. These are from AliExpress. This pack, like 50 pins, was like $5, okay? You do not need to go to Joann's or a fabric store, $50 for a pack of 10, okay? Let's be for real here. Go on to and look up like sewing clips are, okay? You clip your fabric together, and then I did a straight stitch across that, and then around the curves and stuff, I also clipped it in place. So like I clipped right here at the point of it, and I clipped a little like triangle out of it, so that way everything will lie flat and pretty and nice, okay? That's what we're going for. We want it to be pretty. We want it to be nice. It needs to be aesthetically pleasing and clean on the outside. I didn't really care too much what it looked like on the inside. I could have put in a lining, but I didn't, because I didn't feel like it. And honestly, that's okay. Honestly, I can't speak. I'm so sorry that this voiceover is a little hectic and a little crazy, but you're just gonna have to deal with it, and I hope that you are entertained. And full gladiator meme, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Anyways, yeah, so, yeah, there we go. Sewing it down. Whoop, whoop. I think I'm just gonna let you view the rest of this because I have done enough talking. And with that, we are done. The costume is finished. It looks lovely. I love it so much. I almost cried when I put it on, not gonna lie. So thank you so much for watching, whether you were doing housework, homework, your own projects, or you were watching along to learn something. I hope that you were entertained, and thank you so much for being here. If you are new here and you want to subscribe, like, you totally should. That would be so sexy of you. And if you are not new here, I hope that you give this video a thumbs up or give me a comment what you want to see me do next time. I hate doing these kinds of things. Bye.